Michael Bishop is an enigmatic face across the middle heavens. He is as mysterious as he is powerful. While he resides over and has a large amount of control of Weyland Yutani's frontier efforts and forces, little is known of him. This is mainly due to his own personal preference of being removed from the public's prying eye, instead focusing his efforts on black projects. Today we at the project want to shed some light on this individual and explain everything we know about him at this point in time. Michael Bishop's history is one shrouded in hearsay and conjecture. His early life saw the narcissist and ingenious man, born in the year 2127, eventually gaining employment with Hyperdyne Systems, a synthetics design and manufacturing company. Rising through the ranks after his work in the field of synthetic component engineering and design, Michael Bishop would eventually secure a position as a senior member amongst the upper echelon of corporate board members in the Weyland Yutani Corporation. It's likely that his cutthroat attitude and willingness to step on others to achieve his goals went a long way to making him stand out amongst the competition in the company. During this time, Michael Bishop would go on to create the Bishop model android, crafted in his own image. This impressive synthetic was a massive improvement on Hyperdyne's previous models. This model was a near-perfect human companion and assistant, operating in the sweet spot of the uncanny valley. Not too human and not too robotic. So much so that the Bishop model quickly became the go-to synthetic of the USCMC, or the United States Colonial Marine Corps, keeping that position for many decades to come and even moving into the 2200s. Once achieving his position of power, Michael Bishop chose to focus his efforts away from synthetic design and instead onto biological weapons research and development, something that would soon become an obsession of his. Eventually, he would be appointed the Director of Special Projects for Bioweapons Research and Development and Synthetic Design. He continued his career growth and success in his field, which could largely be attributed to his ambitious and manipulative behaviour that both his co-workers and his subordinates would have to constantly endure. By the 2170s, his efforts in these fields intertwined him with the species known as Xenomorph XX121. Bishop directed his obsession towards the study and procurement of these creatures, along with anything remotely linked to them. This included the Xenomorph XX121 P-Prepotens, the Engineers, and their genetic accelerant as well. During this era, Bishop made achievements in his career that all favoured his goal of studying the Xenomorph XX121. He developed a new Weyland Yutani commando unit known as the Dog Catchers. Specifically trained and equipped with the adequate technologies, the Dog Catchers were formed in order to handle and capture the Xenomorph XX121 specimens. Using the modified Weyland Yutani medical frigate, the USCSS Patna, as a mobile centre of operations and a defensive/offensive operations platform, Bishop would move around the frontier using Anchor Point Station as his staging ground in order to perform his duties and conduct his studies. It wouldn't take long for Michael Bishop to become the unquestioned leadership of Weyland Yutani across the frontier. A number of corporate agents and bigwigs also existed out here, but no others had been able to gain the same control and charge that Michael Bishop had been able to achieve in the company. And so he's in charge out in the frontier. But despite his prior successes, Bishop's main prize still continued to elude him. The closest recorded encounter that he had with the Xenomorph XX121 was on the planet Fiorina 161. In the year 2179, Michael Bishop would be notified of the presence of two Xenomorph XX121 specimens present in the Class C Work Correctional Unit on the planet Fiorina 161. Tipped off by staff of the facility, Michael Bishop was quick to dispatch his team of dog catchers and the USCSS Patna to the Fiore 16 star system. After arriving at the facility, they proved to be too late to obtain the runner stage XX121, as it had already been killed by the inhabitants of the facility and Ellen Ripley, who who had found herself on the planet after her EEV had ejected from the USS Sulaco. Bishop had come to understand that Ripley had been implanted by a Manumula Noxhydria, also known as the Facehugger, with Plagiaris Preopotens. Aiming to detain Ripley for analysis and eventually chestburster extraction, Bishop played his hand in the form of manipulation. He pleaded with Ripley that if she went with him, he and his team could safely remove the creature from her, destroy it, and then send her on her way. She could have a normal life again and move on from the hardships that she had encountered since she had been entwined with the species Xenomorph XX121. Ripley though saw through his ruse and decided on suicide by immolation, through which she destroyed her body and the creature gestating within. During these events, a staff member of the correctional facility, Aaron, violently attacked Bishop in an attempt to save Ripley from his grasp, leaving Bishop with severe head trauma. After this mission, Bishop had suffered the greatest loss and defeat of his entire career. After taking what samples they could salvage from the facility, notably blood samples taken from Ellen Ripley upon her arrival to the facility by one Dr. Clemens, Bishop had ultimately failed. Not only did he lose the Xenomorph XX121 specimens, but he additionally required extensive corrective surgeries along with cybernetic implants in order to repair the damage done to his cranium by the rogue and erratic employee Aaron. Despite receiving the utmost advanced medical care, doctors could not control the severe migraines and events known as redouts that Michael Bishop would begin to suffer from this point forward. From this point on, this pain was his new way of life, and while he attempted to drown it out with a painkiller addiction, it's not certain what success he had in self-treating his symptoms. But that wasn't the end for his endeavours. Undeterred, Bishop would continue to operate his bioweapons program across the frontier, still hopeful that leads of the Xenomorph XX121s would eventually end in the procurement of the creature, upon which they could begin attempts to weaponize this already deadly alien species. After the events of Fury 161, he and his vessel, the USCSS Patna, could be seen frequently making port at Anchor Point Station, continuing his efforts on the end of known space. Little is known of his specific activities after this time, however by the year 2194, Michael Bishop had died during complications of a surgery he received, likely linked to the head trauma suffered many years prior. As we obtain new information about Michael Bishop and his extensive activities within Weyland Yutani, I will be sure to keep you updated as by Project ACHERON's mandate. Before you go, I wanted to let you know about the ACHERON Colonial Marketplace, the one-stop shop for all Project ACHERON merchandise. All proceeds go to fund our future endeavours under the project, so if you want to support the channel and look good doing it, pick up some ACHERON merch. But what other data logs would you like to see? If you have any ideas or have any questions to be answered, please leave them in the comments or contact me directly through the Project ACHERON Discord. If you enjoyed today's segment, please leave a like and share the video. And if you really want to support what we do here and gain access to a bunch of awesome rewards, consider becoming a Project ACHERON channel member, like Project Director Chris Dasinger and team member Raunchy. I hope to see you all here again very soon, but until then, this is the ACHERON Project signing off.